Alright, hi guys. So, do I want to be fake or do I want to be phony or do I want to be real? Let's choose the real, it's much quicker. I know I'm messing with the most raggedy weave I've had and I don't even know how long. I've got some other stuff that's supposed to be coming to me, um, but I don't have Amazon Prime, so it might not get hit to the first of the month, and I think it's like the 24th or the 26th. I don't know. Oh, this whole world is a racket, anyways. Because if I had Amazon Prime, it could have got here in 2 days, and I would have it by now. I'm in a bad mood, and I decided to film about it. I just decided to film about real life and just where I currently am. I need not to edit myself. I just need to use this like a journal. If you guys want to play internet therapists below, have at it. That is just literally where I am at right now. I gotta go in a minute because I gotta go back to work. I decided to come home on a lunch break, just getting rid of all of my superficial stuff. I started a new organic skincare. I think it's too strong for my face. I'm still breaking out, which is hormonal. I cannot, just from my own trial and error, I cannot do sugar. I cannot do dairy. I have to eat like very lean meat. That's like the only thing that would, and stress less, right? And lately, I'm not like, this is the crazy part. This is the part that makes me feel absolutely insane. It's not like an overwhelming stress, it's the manageable stress. It's the day in and day out things that you have got to manage that makes it hard. It gets old, it gets annoying, it gets bothersome. It wears you down. Like, it's almost like how they say that all the sand is on the beach is from rocks. It's like, can you imagine what the rock had to go through to slowly like granulate like that? And that's just where I am. We're gonna take that in and we're gonna let that pass. We're gonna take that in. That is where I am. It's the constant like wearing away of me. And let's just get practical and tangible and make this somewhat something that you guys can relate to, just as I bring it back to like the tangible world. I am, first of all, trying to get my finances in order, cutting back on my spending. That has really affected my mood. Like, sometimes I try to make it fun and make it like a challenge. And as I was like riding home just now, I was like, oh, maybe I should just challenge myself to think about this as a 3 month mindset. Like, what am I willing to do in these next 3 months, when really I need to be thinking about it for like a year's sake? But what am I willing to do now to like cut back and get more in line? And it's really annoying. Like, I overspend, and just like anybody who overspends, I don't have credit cards or anything like that. But when you overspend, it is masking other things, because if you stop shopping as a hobby or stop overindulging in food as a hobby, then it's like you really got to make some changes. Even if that change is like, what do I do with my free time? Um, that gets annoying. It gets more than annoying. It gets frustrating when you're already frustrated, and that is your outlet of choice. Even if people don't recognize they can relate to that, most of Americans can relate to that, because what do we do when we get off work? We go buy something or we go eat something. So to say, you know what, I am trying to get healthy, so I'm not just going to be eating crap food, is such a hard thing to do on a consistent basis. And then I'm the kind of person that beats themselves up. So I'm trying not to beat myself up and give myself some breaks, and then boom, there breaks out my skin. So that's one thing. The financial part, and just trying to get things in order and trying to plan for the future. I want to take classes again in January. That costs money. I need to go get all my wisdom teeth removed. That costs money. I need to schedule that by the end of the year. Not to schedule it because it's not free to schedule. Pay for that by the end of the year. So people will be like, "Oh, your boyfriend this and womp womp." I like my talk shit card, so I don't like people doing too much for me, because the more people do for you, the more likely they are to talk shit about you and remind you of what they did for you or why you shouldn't do certain things because they did this and that. I don't care who the person is. That's just like how life works. There's not too many people out there that is just gonna let you just do whatever you want to do as they really, really like step in. You know what I mean? Plus, we are still with the house thing. I think that's also discouraging to me because everything I do, you guys, takes a long time. Like, I can't even, I can barely say it without cursing. Like, I'm just one of those kind of people that if it's going to take you 2 years to do it, it's going to take me 10 years to do it. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why 50 million things come up. Don't even. And the reality tangible, let's see what happened. I don't even know how long we've been looking at now. Has it been a month or 2 months? I don't even know. I've been back again and did a walkthrough. The other person involved in this dynamic duo of messy me, they found all these kind of things that were wrong with it, that they felt like the price was not warranted. We already know that the price is not warranted. We want to talk reason and ration, and it is owned by investors who don't care, right? Because they're just sitting on money. It's not like Joe Blow trying to sell his house. Fine. But it's getting to the point where if we send an email, it takes a week for them to acknowledge that they have the email, and then another week for them probably to actually address the concerns in the email. And this has happened like 2 or 3 times, and then there's still some other things. So one of my good friends, she was like, "Don't rush the house." She feels like, "Don't rush the house." She feels like if you have to rush it to work for it that hard, then it's not worth it. I'm under a different mindset. I've had to work really hard and repeatedly without reward for everything that I have ever gotten. Like how they say, nothing comes easy. I'm not saying woe is me, but I'm just saying this is how my life rolls down. But it gets frustrating when everything is like that. You guys know that I started a new job not too long ago, and some things happen that kind of just like rub me the wrong way and the whole kind of scenario. And then, I started thinking of like my options and different little things and exploring some things, and I need a change. It could just be the season. Every time around this time of year, I get in. I need change, and not only that, I like change like every 2 years or so. I like to feel that I am progressing, and sometimes progression is slow. And then I listen to all of this encouraging, information, and the first thing is gratitude and being thankful for where you are, and that does make it easier if you think about not everything that has taken you to get where you are, because that's what makes me tired. That's what makes me feel so ground and so grinded and being grinded. That's the grind, is when you think of all of these things you've had to overcome just to get this far, which is like nowhere. And then you have like so much farther to go. You really have to empty your cup. That to me is like a powerful word. It's like empty your cup to make room for more, to have other things put into it. You can be the vessel. Of course, I only want to be God's vessel, but He's got to have room to put into you. One of my coworkers and I was having this conversation today. She's like, "That's really good," but she's like, "Girl, it's not my cup that's just full." Because I was like, "Yeah, when your cup is full, you become bitter." That's kind of like where I am right now. Like, I'm trying to fight off bitterness. Does that make sense? With everything that I have, I'm trying to like fight it off. But I'm here to tell you, life can really make you bitter the longer you live it. If you have ever overcame things and overcame things and overcame things, you get tired of overcoming. You're like, you know what? Let me just sit in my chair and veg out or drink it out or do whatever just to get some release. And I have been vegging out to TV, like Netflix, even though I'm not even like a TV watcher. I can I just like fall asleep on it or lose like track of it or whatever. But I don't like that, because then it puts me in an unhealthy thing, because you guys know I've been trying to like get my weight down and be more active. I need to just go ahead and sign up for like a spin class, which is more than most people want to pay. And I'm putting my mind into most people's mind. Like, this is why most people don't spend this kind of money, is because they're like working on other things. Like, in the past, I would easily go out and spend $300 on a personal trainer or $200 on a spin class, but that's because I wasn't trying to focus on something else. One of my coworkers was like, "Oh, you're just maturing," and it sucks. It doesn't feel good. Like, so many different things rolling through my mind, from my finances to the house and all of its shenanigans to my weight and health. Those are two separate things. Um, and then just to progress and to time. And I know that this too shall pass. I know that it will get better. I even tell myself these are not dark days. These are just like cloudy days. You know what I mean? And even as like I look for things that like interest me right now, my interests are like really low because I'm kind of like tired of Houston in a way. Like I've been tired of Houston, but this is where the my other part of my dynamic duo, most of his family and things are in this Texas area, whether it be directly in Houston, Dallas, Louisiana. So, it is what it is. So I'm willing to stay here, but something has got to change for me. And I'm mature enough to know that the biggest change that you can make is to your mindset, because you can be in a place, and if you change your mind about a thing, like let's just say I start doing something that I absolutely just love like to do. Um this whole city would like look completely different to me, because maybe I would be like more opportunity minded. And this is very transparent. Like I've really been praying for like the entrepreneurial spirit to just like click in me, because I know that like it's hard to work for other people, and it is hard, especially if you want to make more money. Let's just be transparent, like significantly more money. Like somebody gave me like a compliment. They heard that I was really hard working, blah blah blah, and it's like I don't need that because I already know that I'm a hard worker. But I want that to pay off. Like I was expecting a bonus at the end of the year. Oh no, you may know the amounts, but you won't actually get it until probably like mid next year. Stuff like that. Does that y'all feel me? It's nothing like and that's why I feel so annoyed, because it's not like one dramatic or drastic thing. It's all of these little things that are just not adding up, that just makes me at the end of my day just say, you know what, let me go get in my bed, scroll on my phone, watch some Netflix, and zone out from this, because I'm just done trying. But I know that that's not the progressive way to be. The progressive way to be does go back to like emptying your cup, and that's back to the conversation I was having with my coworkers. It's like, yeah, because if your cup gets too full of things you had to overcome and what you went through and all these woe is me kind of things, it gets bitter. It really does. And she's like, girl, I don't need to empty a cup, I gotta empty a wagon. And I was just like, like there is power in letting go. There's a lot of power in letting go of the things that don't serve you, but also in who you used to be and what you thought you were going to be. There's so much power in just, like, I always say it, forgiving yourself, but also forgiving the self that you thought that you would be. Does that make sense? Like, in my perfect world, I would take crap from no one. I would have everything figured out perfect and in order, but that is not the reality of my life. I've got to work through some things. Does that make sense? It's the working through that's annoying. It's the working through that makes me overspend and me overeat and me overly relax, because working through things is not always fun. Like I love the fact that people come on social media and make all these different challenges and infuse motivation into it. Like I do love that. I do get something from it, but sometimes the spirit just gets like, whoo, you know. I I'm trying to make it as relatable to you guys as I can. Um, so that you guys can understand my level of crazy right now, because we're all a little bit crazy, we're all a little bit insane, you know, fighting battles that are not ours, or worried about things that don't make a difference or that we can't change. Let me say that, worried about things that we don't even have the tool set to even go after. And it's the building of that toolbox that really, it tests us, it tests everything within us to build new tools. I told somebody last week, I think my significant other last week, that I really wish somebody would have told me that life has a life. How can it's really important for me to say this. I wish somebody had told me about the game that nobody talks about. You think that life is all about whatever, the things you see, going to work, raising your family, finding the right person, divorcing the wrong person, working hard, and then everything is going to fall into place. But no, there is another game behind that is just all the opposition that comes at you no matter what you do. There are days like this that no matter how motivated, how encouraged, and no matter how much you pump yourself full of the word or motivation or inspiration, that you just feel like there is a cloud. Like, why is it so cloudy right now? There's other things that are also like disappointing me, which is shallow. These are just my little things. Like, we were supposed to take a trip this weekend. I don't think that we're gonna take it, and that it like disappoints me because it's something that the other person always does and wants to do, and I'm like, should I like offer to pay for this trip? Like, what should I do? Like, I don't know. Like, I was gonna let it ride because I got other things that I need to focus on, like my list of things I need to do for this year. I'm so used to going through things by myself. Yes, my chin neck thing is bothering me too. Like, I don't know where this is coming from. Um, I'm so used to going through things by myself. I'm not used to going through things with a partner. To me, that makes it more embarrassing. I never recognized how much of a prideful person that I really am. I gotta get out of here too, because I can tell that the time is ticking. I'm a very prideful person. Like, I don't like people to know, like, when things are not going according to plan or my way. It really does bother me. Even though the other person may be like 100% supportive, and I do think that's because I've had a lot of things happen to me in my life where I felt like it was a waste of my time to tell somebody anything that was wrong with me because they were never going to fix it anyways. They were never going to do anything but just hold that information, and I don't know why they even wanted to know. But that's some deep rooted issues there. It was so funny that I didn't listen to my little Sunday words that I like to listen to on the internet until this morning. Well, I started one day this week. I just kept getting a little bit and a little bit. And the whole thing was about uprooting things, and we all have, what do they call, traumas. That's another thing that has been bothering me too. Can you guys believe that it has been a year since everything happened to me last year? Like, a whole entire year. I'm going to sit you guys here while I drink some Gatorade. I just put that trash bag there. I can't believe how fast a year goes by. It drives him nuts that I refuse to put out a trash can. I don't refuse, I just think those are easier. I have been craving sugar lately like crazy. And I had kicked sugar out of my diet. I don't drink coffee. I think there's a definite correlation between sugar and stress or negative emotions. Like, when you feel kind of down, you want something to pick you up. Here comes the junk food, I think that's a fact, not just an assumption. You want something to make you feel good. Food is easy. Anyways, so I kind of knew. Let me say this. I kind of felt like this was going to be a hard month for me. But I said, not a hard month, a hard season for me, because I have a lot of negative emotions from last year, from around this time of year when it was getting cold, and I said, I'm not going to let myself believe that. I was like, nope. I am what I say I am, and I'm gonna be positive. Not even positive, because that's how my luck is. I joked with my boyfriend. I was like, if I say I'm positive, I might catch HIV or AIDS. So I just gotta say I'm gonna be optimistic, because girlfriend gotta be real careful with her words. Hold on. My neighbor has a dog that needs to be in a crate. I don't know why they got this dog in this apartment. So I said I was really gonna be careful with myself, with my emotions. And I'm trying to figure out if it has a lot to do with it. And just coincidentally, this month is infant loss awareness. And then somebody posted a picture of the internet that I could 100% relate to. And it was very triggering, let me say that. Very, very triggering. I'm not gonna be able to continue this conversation with you guys because looks like I may have to share the elevator. Hopefully not. It's gonna get personal. And my work, tying into like the idea of uprooting things, my boyfriend is the one who said that I don't deal with things. He said that I just suppress things. I'm going to own that. I am going to own that I am a pressure cooker. Hence these pimples on my face. Like what? Oh, jeez. I don't know where I parked at. Yes, I did. Here I am. So, I do like hearing things from other people that are constructive, but it kind of made me mad because here I am in my mind, and that is what works for me, is that I know you have to keep going, so you can't let yourself get down, because girl, you're gonna have to go anyways. so you might as well stay on the move. Now, I'm not saying not take care of myself along the way, but I guess this is what happens when you take care of yourself along the way. Is that you may think that things are not bothering you or affecting you, and then this is when it's real, something happens, and all of a sudden, you get this frown or this feeling that you cannot shake. On the whole uprooted message, the speaker was telling a story from his childhood. And it was such a emotional, palatable story. Like, it just sucked you in. And we all have those moments of trauma. I'm using that because that's the word that the speaker used, was trauma. Absolute trauma. And I just thought about how in my life I have had to overcome absolute trauma again and again. And how some of that is deep rooted. This is why people go to therapy, to tap into their trauma and talk about how they're going to deal with it and how they're going to get over it. That's fine if that works for you. That's fine. However, for me, if you know that it is there, I believe in being insightful. Like, I was actually thinking about changing my channel name to like Insightful Eye. Because I'm telling you, when something is bothering me, if I sit there peacefully and quietly and go about my life, sorry guys, this is a bad angle of me, it reveals itself. It shows itself. It remedies itself, or it provides a resolution, whether I take it or not. It comes to me. Never in my life have I had a real problem, which for me I believe most problems are spiritual in nature. When there are the things that you cannot see, it's not just your emotions, it's not just how you feel about it, it's something that you are really unequally matched or prepared for or misinformed about. And this is going to cut off at a really good point. And some of us are trained into certain ideologies more so by examples that we did not know are flawed, or even if we know that they're flawed, that we cannot shake. Like, I don't want to get too personal in my own life, but sometimes you can see a situation and your defense mechanism, my defense mechanism is, I will never be that in my life. I don't care what I got to do. I will never be that in my life. That will not be me. I'm going to do everything I can do to avoid being that. And that creates its own set of issues, right? That's why sometimes people with overweight or unhealthy parents become like anorexic or have or addictive behaviors, because they are really trying to outrun things or really trying to overcorrect things. And for me, one of the revelations that I personally got today was, what if I stopped trying to overly correct things and just really enjoy the life and use what I have to get the most out of this side of life, you know? Like, what if I really did start today, like from this point, and just say, you know what? I may not have begun here, but this is a new beginning spot for me. Right? I have a job. I have a place to stay. I have a somewhat sturdy relationship. You know, we know how those goes. But, you know, what if I just start here today? That is so much more refreshing than trying to think about everything that has happened to me and how it has affected me. And I'm not saying that I'm not affected. I'm definitely not saying that. But I'm saying that I cannot mope or hold on to that and continue. I just can't do it. It doesn't serve me. It's too heavy. I've got to release it, surrender it, give it away, put it under the cross, let it go. However you want to talk about it, affirm it, whatever kind of language that resonates with you. But for me, it goes back to Christianity, because I got to give some things back to the cross. You know what I mean? There was already a cross. You know, some battles are already won. Some battles are not mine. And that's real. So, I don't know. I've been very transparent with you guys on this. Life is a journey. It really is. I need to start journaling. I do. And not use you guys as a journal, because then I put myself open for a whole bunch of commentary. But I think I want to even start my journal, like with today being day 1, you know? I have this Ayanla book. I can't think of the name of it. I think it's Until Today. But it's like one of those little prompt things. But what if I did say, until today, blah, 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 you know? Until today, I had an unforgiving heart. But starting today, I am going to be a forgiver of others and myself constantly and repeatedly, even when that's hard for me. You know? Until today, having discipline was no fun and upset me. But today, day 1, I am going to turn that around and break some strongholds off of my life that are more than just about me. They've been generationally and systemically institutionalized within me. And we can talk about finances as women, and especially as minorities, and as a minority woman. Oh my God, there are just certain things about finances and ownership that just... Let me go, y'all, before I get too deep. Thank y'all so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.